literally everything's got to be removed. Steering column, centre console, glove box, everything from the dash. And apparently the whole metal framework has got to come out with this dashboard, which is a bit of a pain. He said it's very much like a DS. They're all very, very awkward to do, and it's going to have to come out with all of the wiring as well. But I have offered to help, but Edwin said no, he's quite fine doing it here himself, so we'll let him continue on. Actually, a couple of weeks after I took that initial bit of video, and look at the inside of this car. Foolishly as well, I actually lost the first part of video I did, previous to the previous bit you've just watched, but that is how much he had to take out. And a couple of weeks later, of course, he is back. Is that our original?
This year.
Our original airbag, been repacked, passenger side, seatbelts repaired, new steering wheel airbag.
Yeah.
Yeah, new steering wheel. And that, would you believe, you ready? Is our original dashboard. Where was it repaired? You just cannot tell. That has been off to Lithuania. They've repaired it back to complete factory. And if this car was involved in another accident, of course it's going to go off in exactly the same way. I'm going to get out of Edwin's way. It is a one-man job in there. It's very, very tight, and he wants to crack on and get this done before it gets dark this time. So I'm going to leave him to it. Let's take a look once it's done. Well, this is a little bit embarrassing. Being sat on the back of the truck now since we bought this car. It has been a bit of a nightmare. Of course, we got Josh to go through it, get into the gateway and try and get this car into neutral for us. And unfortunately, that didn't work. But in the last video, a lot of you, actually technicians at Vauxhall and someone even at Peugeot, and said, Rob, don't panic, we've got you. You got 3 10mm here, one there, and one there. The only thing that was a little bit confusing, they said there was an Allen key in here, and maybe it is behind there. But what I've done is took those 3 out, and in there you can see there is a normal gearbox fork. I wish I'd left it out now. And the minute I got the bar on it, there, I just put it in the hole, pushed it, and the whole car done the old donk and went straight into neutral. Well, I'm assuming it's gone into neutral. I have fully charged that 12-volt battery. The ignition's all firing up, and I am finally going to get this car unloaded off the back of this truck, because we got airbag service coming out to do some work on it, and we've got quite a lot of parts in stock for this car. Now, I know quite a lot of you do comment and say, when's the next video on this, when's the next video on that, and other cars, and honestly we would love to just flow, and there was no bits available. We've had to order loads of the bits from Italy, and slowly but surely they've been coming through the door. Let's get it off the truck, get it in the workshop, and get it on the ramp. It's been a long time coming, and I've really been looking forward to getting this one on the frame machine. We know it is a very, very small job to do, but there's no other way of doing it. You don't really want to clamp it down and try and pull it out any other way. Once it's on that frame machine, it's completely square, and you can just pull it with the dozer. And you can see it was pretty easy to get it on. Well, it is about an hour's work. Get it up there, and then remove the actual lift pads, put the seal clamps in there, and then go around and get them all bolted up. Here's your next victim on the jig, mate.
Yep, all ready to go, mate.
This car, the previous bits of video that I've done, would you say that's been over 2 months, or possibly even a bit longer?
Well, it was before Christmas, and we got 2 different stories regarding, one was going to be 9 months, was it, for a front panel? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was a silly amount of time, wasn't it?
No, that piece, that in particular piece, that piece there, was back order until September.
September, yeah, 9 months.
And it was one of the first pieces that turned up, was actually that new panel. Also, I'm going to get you to hold that camera, because I do just want to show something. A lot of people did mention this to us, and we kind of knew, oh, don't worry, I'm going to bring it round here. It's in the boot. You're going to need it tomorrow anyway. And that's the front panel. But it is going to make a few people laugh, because, here I come.
I know.
I bought this off 2 separate people. So I bought the front panel off of one company and the louvers off another. And look what the front panel was off of. A Vauxhall Corsa.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't
It's unbelievable. Peugeot 208 those louvers are off of.
I know.
It's a Fiat.
I know, but we've matched all the part numbers up,
And
haven't
they're identical. And in fact, I've actually, look, I knocked that round and I've had that sat on here for safety so that it didn't get broke. But it is on the jig because of that little bit of chassis damage up under there.
Yeah.
We've got...
I think you can probably see from here that chassis leg is low. It's bopped it down.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
So the chassis leg's got to go up.
And a little crease in the bottom.
That's right.
But we've got a brand new bumper bar for it up there on the shelf. We've got the front panel. We've got a new bonnet. We've got a new wing. The only thing we're waiting on is the front bumper. But you said we can crack on without it. We've got everything we need. And the quicker that we get this done, the quicker this one can get to the paint shop as well.
Yeah.
Because, like I just said, we're not starting this video. It's been happening over months. We've just finished that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That car.
Then we got the repair kit has arrived for the BMW as well.
Yeah,
so
we are getting on with them.
So we'll have 3 off to paint soon, won't we?
That's it. Right, mate. Let's get this dozer set up. Straighten out this leg.
Yep.
And with it on the frame machine, it is time to get off that bonnet. So just remove the blanket from underneath, loads of little clips, and then I can remove the washer jets and the water pipes. And then you've got 2 13s each side, get that gone, and then start stripping down all of the area where the damage is. So there's an ABS pump there. Chris just wants to take the bracket out, drop it down so it's out of the way. Take that metal bar off the bottom of the subframe like a bit of an extension there, and pretty much prepare to pull that damaged area. So with the dozer slid in there, we can get that hooked on, whack the pin through, and we are ready to go. I just popped out there to get Chris some spot weld drill bits, some little finger files, and he's prepped, got the dozer on there, got everything tight. Got it measured out where he's going to pull it. Safety chain.
People have mentioned in the past, don't always need one.
No.
I've put one on there today.
You ready, mate?
Yeah.
Do you want to give it a little go?
You might see it. The crease is more visible this side.
Let me come around that side. Is that
Oh,
all right?
you might want to.
Before you get some tension on the chain.
I don't know what we've shown previously, but it's just tucked the end of the chassis rail down.
We haven't really shown any of it, mate.
I'm using this bracket to my advantage to give it a bit of leverage.
Yep.
And also that's where the impact point was.
Okay.
So I'm as near as that as I can get. So theoretically, as that comes out like that, I'll pop that back up.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Oh, that's nice and light, isn't it?
Right. That's started to bend that now. Then.
Yeah.
So we'll have to let that off and we'll have to pull off of there.
Yeah.
Because it's just curling that up.
It did pull it up pretty easy, didn't it?
We have got a new one of these though.
We have.
So that's coming off. So we'll have a rehash and pull off those 2 eyes and cut back in, yeah?
So there was a fair bit of movement there. So Chris has put this new bracket on and actually put a nut and bolt through the top of it there just to hold it all sandwiched together. And I think, mate...
You all right?
Yeah, let's get right in there and have a proper look.
Just have to move the camera a little bit for me. I can't see. Thank you, mate. That's it.
I think you are there.
Now, mate.
Little tap underneath. Take that bulge out of it.
Oh yeah, it's nearly gone, isn't it?
Let's have a little feel.
Oh, that's nice.
I can show that, Chris, actually.
Yeah,
Let's get the camera in now. God, it is so difficult, but this here, a minute ago, was actually... Let me get round that side. That's fantastic, that is. So a moment ago, you can slightly see it there. This was actually all rolled over where it had bent down, but...
Take that off there a minute. Might see a bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, so once Chris taps on that now, with a hammer and a bar, a chisel, you will get that out, and then that will pretty much be back where it needs to be.
Move that coolant's leaking out of there, Rob.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, all right, mate.
Get that, and then we'll have a look after.
Yep.
Blink and it's over. So we've got an hour to an hour and 30 minutes set up there to get this car set up onto the jig, and about 2 minutes of pulling with a chain, and that car is all squared back up, mate, go for it.
Yeah, I've took that other panel off that we're not replacing, Rob, but I think this one here.
Yes.
Because it's only 3 spot welds, and it's a lot easier to straighten it off the car. But mainly it's easier because you can offer it up to this side, and if you come around here you can see it's got a very subtle dog leg in that. But you would think that would go straight down, but see how it kicks back slightly, this panel?
Yeah, I see it.
So you can offer it up, although it's they're handed, they're opposites. I could hold that in there and follow that profile,
right,
and get that exact. Which, I mean, I'm not saying you couldn't do it with it attached to that chassis end, but it's a lot easier off because it's quite heavy gear. So in the press, you can gently straighten it, and that's what I did. And it's back on there, and that is only clamped on this panel, but this is bolted here, right through the original bolt, right exactly where it was, the original. And you can see where I've put bolts in this first to hold this plate back on.
Yeah.
And how it's gone straight over them.
Oh, you just sat it over the top
yeah,
of them,
so
I
it
see.
kind of centres it. So it is bang on hole centres.
This leg wasn't over at all.
Wasn't, no.
It was just tucked under,
just
yeah.
tucked under. So there's only 8 spot welds. Oh, this new
Oh, is
bracket
there?
on.
I see you've got the...
Yeah, so I'm going to, where I've got that clamped, I'm going to take that back off, and I'm going to match the position of those. I've got 3 in there. I'm going to match those, and then that can go back on, and then I'll mock up with putting that chassis brace back in.
Yeah.
You can see I'm sort of in the centre of that hole there with a bolt.
I can.
So we're not a million miles away there.
What Chris meant by that was there's actually a black bracket like the old Fiat
Just a
500s.
brace, that
Yeah,
is.
brace, 2 bolts in here, and then 1 here, and it actually...
But I'm not going to put that on until I've drilled it.
Okay.
And then it doesn't have to come back off. And then it'll be wings, bonnet, front panel just to double check. But I've swapped that over in there because that doesn't come with that new one.
No.
And I've straightened that one up where it just kicked round.
So you've got a little tiny bit here on the edge.
I have, yeah.
But you'll do that with the hammer.
Oh, yeah, it's just dolly work, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I say, we have got a lot of parts for this front. Got the front panel there. I think the only thing we're outstanding is the front bumper. It's all paid for and ordered. That's coming in from Italy. It's been on back order.
Yeah.
Even though it was meant to be one of the things that come before that
I
piece.
know,
It's confusing. I need aircon rad, water rad, and a fan for it. And I think we've got everything for this car.
Yeah.
So, and
But it can go in paint before.
it can go
that.
to paint, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd really like to get it driving and running.
Yeah.
But, mate, I guess I'm going to leave
Yeah.
you to crack on with that. So very, very light, small work there. And now that he's done, Chris, of course, is going to weld up those little welds that have come undone and weld that new panel in there, making sure that it's gone in there absolutely perfect. He did say there was only 8 spot welds. I've counted 5 there now so far, 6, 7, and there should only be 1 more. Maybe I missed one then. No, there he goes. So that is all of the spot welds done, and that will be on there now. I've counted a couple of extras, so no doubt I was missing some, or he's welded the little front panel that popped off again.
If only they was all as easy as that. Just 5 welds holding that panel on. 5 there. Sorry, 8 welds. 5 there and 3 there. So really quick to change that. And I've had the crash bar back on to double check, and I've had that suspension brace bar back in there, and that all fitted nice. And you can kind of see there that that threaded hole aligns bang in the centre of those. So a little bit of tickling off, but not a lot, and a bit of prep. We can get that masked up and get some primer on it and try and get it in paint today, which would be really nice. I would like to get this wrapped up today, really. So let's see how we get on. And now a little bit more grinding up to do with the finger file there. I went and got him some nice new belt sanding discs for it. So get them cleaned up. And then he can put a little tiny skim of filler over there, or stopper over just the little areas that have been done. It will be a drop of filler. And then of course you can see now he's masking it up. Going to get a bit of primer on there, let that go off for a little while. And then I've actually bought a colour match cam for this one, so it can actually have some paint. So the primer's all dry.
Chris chucks his mask on there and then starts the process of putting a bit of paint on that repaired area. Don't forget, there was no damage there. There was a tiny little crack in the paint underneath, and of course there was just that little bit of welding that he's done, and he's just managed to actually paint that, and I think we are pretty much there with it. That's all done. So I wasn't around for the second part of that video, and that is because I was actually on my way down the M4 in a lorry, actually, as a passenger, where I went and picked up another beautiful car that unfortunately doesn't drive, and picked up a van that I actually drove home. So you've got those to look forward to. They're out there in the yard and they will be upcoming. While I was gone, Chris absolutely, of course, we know, don't we? He nailed that bit of framework on this car. And it was that little tiny crease down there where it just tweaked that chassis leg down. Now I've got some new parts in the background. I can continue on with this. But Chris actually got this completely finished before he just popped off to Cornwall for a well-deserved few days rest. So they've gone down to Cornwall for a few days. I can carry on with this, and you'll be watching this on Wednesday. Chris will actually be back by Wednesday, but of course now I can continue on with it. One thing I did just want to say though, would you believe for that tiny little crease down there in the chassis, check this out. Yes, would you believe it? This vehicle has been written off, and just down here you can see it was written off on the 9th 2024, and they marked this vehicle as a category S structural damage repairable, which is unbelievable for that tiny little end cap that had just folded over that Chris straightened out, and like he said, it was like toffee. It is completely back to normal now, but it is such a shame that unfortunately this one is a category S. So just going down to market values on this one, you can see their average market price for this vehicle is $21,282. The lowest price one is currently advertised for is $20,672. Average there, and of course your highest $22,287. Scrolling a little bit further down, of course you've got your taxes and fees, specs and equipment. Not sure about the taxes and fees on this one because of course they are changing. They're going to be changing the taxing costs on electric vehicles, even though they originally they was free, wasn't they? You can see VED remaining 11 days, so this one is actually still got an owner on file and also still showing as taxed. You've got your specs and equipment, your ownership's there, and of course your timeline. There is only 3 records in timeline, and that's your manufacturer's date, your registration date 0324, then your written off date 0924. So just 6 months old when this one was written off. Of course I want to thank Carvertical for the continued support on the channel. To benefit from a nice little discount off your check, use that code that's been displayed up on screen throughout this check, or just hit the link in the description where it will automatically divert you to Carvertical with your discount included. And now of course I'm on my own, and it is just a case of fitting it all up. There is 2 13s to go on the top of that front panel, 2 13s to go into the ABS pump, just in the bracket to get that back on there. Once that's on there, I can stick a couple of bolts in the front panel, and then of course get the wheel back on, and then I'm going to break open that wing out of the packet. It did make me laugh, it says PSA on the packet there. With the wing on, I'm now going to get the bonnet, I think, get that unwrapped. Actually really weird. It's so quiet, actually really quiet in here today. I've not even turned the radio on. All you can hear is got a couple of logs on there and the fire crackling, and I've just cracked on with it. This gap, you're never going to get it perfect, and you're never going to tell how good or bad it does look because of course it's black on white, so probably best to get that edged up first. But of course the final fitment we haven't got to worry about right now, but to see that car at that stage already. So in the time lapse, that's where I was working predominantly, in that corner, putting that strut back on, putting the ABS pump all back in there, and relocating all of those wires back into the correct place. So you can see I've chucked a fire blanket up there, I've chucked a coat up there, and that is because of course I don't want to scratch anything. I'm going to get the ramp to go a little bit lower because I am 5'7" and I can't reach anything. I'm going to lower the ramp right down, and then I'm going to attempt to get that bonnet on there, and I'm going to try and get that latch in as well, but I'm going to need to get a couple of bolts in this front panel just to hold it in position. Otherwise of course when you shut the bonnet, you go to lift it up, it's going to lift the whole front panel up. So I'm just going to continue on, get this bonnet unwrapped and get it back on there. But yeah, the bonnet and the wing all wrapped up PSA. It's just incredible now how much stuff these cars do share, all these different companies. I know they're all owned by the same company now, but I'm sure you get a gist of what I'm saying. Right, let's carry on. And of course it is time to get that bonnet on. I've noticed a little bit of damage here. I'm going to mention that in a minute. So just 213s. I'm not worried about getting this absolutely bang on at the moment, but I am going to get it bolted up and get it on there. It's safe. And now this car, everything we've got for it is all back together. We are literally just waiting on those few items. I'm really happy here. I've got the headlight fitted. I'm going to go out, grab the other headlight and see what it looks like. We got no headlight lug repair kit in yet for the passenger side headlight, so that is on its way, as is the front bumper. But check that out. There's some brackets on the top of these headlights that go from the front panel just to hit this area, and it's actually bent. And then this one, you'll see, are quite cleverly placed for the thumbnail. A block of wood under there that's just holding that up, because you can see there we've got a broken lug here, and both of the top ones are broken as well. But from that factory, I could have actually shown you, these headlights actually have the brackets bolted on from factory. So they're not actually, we're so lucky that headlight wasn't damaged and it was in the boot. But look at that car. What I am going to say is, this come all the way from Italy, this bonnet, and we don't want to unwrap stuff from its protective packaging. So it's a bit of a calculated risk. You either check it or you don't. And we did not check this, and you can see there, see that's just a little tiny corner there where it is hit the floor. It's just bent down. So we get Chris to just dolly that back up and get that perfect. But then when you sit across the bonnet, let's keep going in slowly. You should be able to just about see that there now. I'm just trying to get it in the right light. Let's try to get it from this angle. I really want to show you guys what I've just seen in the bonnet, but with the light it is quite so you can see it now. See that dent now? And then when you rub here, there's actually a little bit of a dent there as well. I don't think I'm going to be able to pick, yes, that just picked it up there. See that little low spot there? And of course that one here, and that is, you do get that sometimes with panels. Don't forget, this is genuine, so it is nice and strong. It's not a pattern one, but unfortunately it is damaged. So it's going to need a tiny little repair there, a repair up there, and of course a tiny little repair here. But I'm pretty chuffed with getting it just this far, and I know Chris will be pretty chuffed when he gets back as well. Don't forget the final fitment and alignment on the wing, the bonnet, the front bumper. We'll do that all together once it is completely painted. But I think you would agree that is now at the stage where that car can go to the paint shop. But I can't send it until I get the front bumper. It would be completely pointless. Look how cool these little cars are now, like these lights. And there's the DRL light, and that's not broken either. And then underneath here, even the fog light, you can see, is not broken. The only thing it's done is broken the lug off of the bumper. It actually is completely undamaged, that little fog light, which is fantastic, because that means we haven't had to buy any lights for this car whatsoever. And of course, just before I do shut this video down, I haven't actually shown it. A huge thank you to Airbag Service Limited. There is a link for them in the description down below. Guys, look at that dashboard. That is our original dashboard. So that split through here, exploded and spat out our passenger airbag. The driver's airbag is our original, I believe, but it is a new cover. So just these covers split right through the middle, and they've replaced that. And of course, they have replaced all of these seat belts as well. So now they're all working perfect. So it is a case of get this one painted, put this one together, and then we've got to try and get it going, haven't we? Because this is a non-runner, but it's an electric car. We're confident it's just crash data or a pyro fuse in the main electric battery. Let us know what you think it is. That is going to be the end of today's video. If you did enjoy it, we'd appreciate that thumbs up. If you're not following us on our other socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you can follow us there. All the links are down below. But of course, it's Salvage Rebuilds. Don't forget, like, subscribe and share. And we'll look forward to seeing you all very, very soon in the next one.